Oi oi, alright, how's it going? I'm Grant, you're you, this is Doodle Review, and we're a channel that day-to-day reviews new music pretty much from across the board. Action Adventure is the 7th record from Californian hip-hop, trip-hop producer and composer DJ Shadow. Shadow was originally one of the pioneers of a sound dubbed by some as Sampledelia in the mid to late 90s, and this is not really a term that we'd utilise today, but at the time, his talent for assembling complete full albums solely from samples, bits, pieces, morsels and crumbs from other existing recordings was a new concept in the mainstream, even though it had naturally evolved from hip-hop and quietly been living in the underground for some time. Along with artists like Uncle and the Avalanches, DJ Shadow, aka Joshua Davis, created seminal sample-based music at the turn of the millennium that would challenge and inspire a whole new generation of electronic artists and producers who are making waves in our current era. Since that time, DJ Shadow has enjoyed a celebrated but relatively low-key career, dropping new albums every couple of years while definitely gathering acclaim but don't seem to generate the same buzz in the music press, who are either over the novelty of sampling, despite it being no less of a skilled craft, over the novelty, or just a bit more interested in artists that are at the bleeding edge of electronica. In any case, DJ Shadow continues, and while there might be those picking up the torch he laid down with introducing all those years ago and pushing it into more envelope-pushing territory, Shadow has always held pretty true to the foundations of sample culture. The original kind of philosophy that ran through the veins of old-school hip-hop and into electronica was that it's not how far you can twist or manipulate a sound beyond recognition, but how much can you move people with it? How do you take a drum break, a vocal line, a horn stab, and make it move someone or make it groove harder than it did originally? I think it's important to recognise that before going into this record, because actually on Action Adventure, I think Shadow has gone in a bit of a different direction, and you can in some respects draw comparisons with some modern electronic artists, but he definitely still holds true to those principles rather than just going super abstract and weird with it. What makes this a different direction for the artist is usually a DJ Shadow album is replete with guest vocalists and stars. However, here on Action Adventure we have no guest stars, and actually I feel like a lot of the record features wholly original instrumentation rather than just a lot of samples. According to interviews prior to starting this record, Shadow spent a lot of time going through 80s TV and film samples and examining unfamiliar parts of his massive record collection to create something much more personal to him, paying particular attention to sounds of his youth. As such, the album loosely recalls the aesthetic of pulpy adventures from TV, film and video games, hence the Action Adventure title. Fortunately though, while the opening track Ozone Scraper might fool you, the music isn't just a bunch of tacky sci-fi theme tunes, but instead includes some fairly contemplative pieces. This to me shows the artist got as much inspiration from the journey of exploring that palette of sounds as he did from the sounds themselves. The album at its best could actually be best represented by the run that goes from Craig, Ingalls and Wrightson to Free For All. Within these 5 tracks you get almost all of the best work from Shadow's artistic exploration in this area. Craig has a dark synth bass line that sounds like slowly scaling the heights of a mountain, but in a 1 step forward 2 steps back kind of way. You then hit Witches vs Warlocks, which utilises a bit of a trope for Shadow at this point of dueling cinematic vocal samples, but it's just done so well with wobbly bass and those 808 or 909 little flurries of drum breaks. A Narrow Escape is one of my favourites on this selection of favourites, with its clavinet riff leading to a breakbeat hardstyle bass line, which is a classic combination. The next track, You Played Me, is where I see some comparisons to contemporary electronic artists. The bass synths are really blocky and remind me of Tobacco, while the slowed down chopped up vocal sample that reminds you of a lost song gives me that kind of hypnagogic pop vibe of Oneohtrix Point Never. As I said before though, Shadow always retains the soul feeling that moves you rather than pushing too far into the abstract. The following track, and last on this run, is Free For All, a chopped up sample of a guitar hoedown that is really fun to listen to, although it gives me the fear that it will be adopted by many an ad campaign in 2024, as per other tracks in Shadow's discography. That run plus the final 3-song run from Reflecting Pool to She's Evolving gives you the very best of the record, whereas the other tracks here kind of lose it a little bit. I'm not a huge fan of the intro, Ozone Scraper. It's a good tone setter, but not particularly interesting. Time and Space I can appreciate for exploring the themes of the record, but it isn't very engaging over its 8-minute runtime. And other pieces like The Prophecy just don't really go anywhere. Overall, I'd give this a 6/6, but if you are into instrumental, electronic, trip hop or IDM, it should be down as a must listen, because while not in the producer's top tier work, there are some fantastic tracks and a lot of care has been taken with the project. Alright, enough faff from me though. What did you think? Are you a big Shadow fan, or did this album leave you a bit wanting? Hit me in the comments, and if you made it this far, don't be cute, don't be coy, stop messing about, and subscribe. We've got a ton more stuff coming for you that you'll obviously love, and don't forget to subscribe, share some thoughts, show some love, or just have some abuse in the comments. Check out some other videos you might like linked in the description below, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers mate, bye.